Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to another Paws on Netflix.
Just in time for the holidays, we're covering Netflix's animated Christmas film from 2022, Scrooge: A Christmas Carol.
Yes, and in this Broadway-style musical story, Luke Evans is the voice of Ebenezer Scrooge as he goes on a ghostly redemption arc of his life and becomes a better man.
And before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, click the notifications on future podcasts and World of Paws videos.
Absolutely, and thank you for joining us and supporting us. We really appreciate your listening and watching.
Yes, thank you. So, for this one became another one of those Netflix movies that just kind of went on everyone's radar because it was shown to be coming soon, like not long after Thanksgiving. Like Netflix got started on the holiday stuff like the day after Thanksgiving immediately. Most people just gonna get right into Christmas the day after Thanksgiving. So Netflix took the initiative and decided to put it in late November as well. And it came out, and then no one talked about it. And we actually had it in our list. It was already saved, and we just took a while to get to it. And we saw it like probably a week before the holiday, and it was actually way better than expected because we had started doing some of the movies, and they kind of weren't hitting. They seemed kind of rushed, or they were trying to bank off of Klaus and try to do similar films with like a Santa Legend over and over. But they actually try to do something different with this take on Christmas Carol.
If you haven't seen Scrooge: A Christmas Carol, this is one you need to see. As Rascal says, there's been so many different versions and takes and gender swaps and swaps and time swaps, and everything's being done for this movie. But to take it and leave it in the same time period, but make an excellent movie that actually reminds you of, like we mentioned, a Broadway musical you would actually go to see, but be animated and on Netflix.
Yes.
Is fantastic. It's unbelievable that they took it in the short time and made it deliver something that's fun to watch, even though it's got the messages that are supposed to be there. It's entertaining, the lessons come through, and it actually reminds you of The Greatest Showman.
Yes, a whole lot.
And the quality of the songs, especially the songs, are absolutely fantastic.
Yes, and when we were watching it, I told Mama that, as we were seeing it, it felt like this was meant to be a live play. Definitely. The way it's structured, they have the effects, how it segues into songs. I think this was meant to be a live action play, and something happened, it didn't happen, and then they made it into an animated movie instead. And we also found out that one of the writers of the film also did the lyrics, they did the music, they did direction, and just about one of everything on here. But unfortunately, they passed before they got to see the movie completed. So that was the only sad part of the film, that they worked that hard and they didn't even get to see it be fully realized.
And it's really a joy to watch. It's beautiful to look at. The songs are excellent. The story itself remains the same in terms of the lessons that are in it, the messages that are in it. The characters themselves are still the same characters. They haven't been made something different. But what I always love, and I say, is I like when it's the same story, but it's being told and done in such a wonderful way that's like something fresh and new, like MHA.
Right.
Scrooge: A Christmas Carol is the MHA of the Scrooge movies.
Right. That's a great way of putting it. Plus, there's been hundreds or thousands of takes on it, whether it be a movie, a play, an episode, animated. One character acts like Scrooge. Scrooge McDuck himself has played the role. And right now, I think the ones that have been considered the best versions, I think so far, is just the Muppet one, surprisingly. And another version that really isn't coming to mind right now, but right now those two are considered the best versions of the story. And there's nothing wrong with changing it up because it's public domain, just as long as you keep the core of the story intact.
And some of those are fun to watch and great as well, even when they do the change of the time periods and things.
Right.
But to have one that sticks to the original,
right,
and makes it seem like it's something different and new you're watching,
right,
that's a feat in itself.
Right. And the only really change you can see in here, and as I've pointed on other podcasts, they don't hit you over the head with the changes. Like, they're kind of aware that it's kind of really big and boisterous and they're really going on with each song. They gave Scrooge a dog, I guess so he wouldn't be by himself, but it didn't act like everything hinged on the dog.
And I also think so, and you did mention this when we were watching it, so you would know that he's not all bad. If he's got a dog, there's got to be some good in this man.
Right, because the dog's not running away from him. Right. And they added...
The dog actually loves him and tries to protect him.
Yes.
So.
And they also had a little bit of diversity within the cast, both for the voice and for the animation, because we are aware that some versions have it and some don't.
Many versions don't have it.
Right. So
if we're speaking from ever since they've been made, I should put it this way, ever since they've been making movies and Broadway shows and TV specials for the story, I should say.
Right. So this one, it's really obvious that they put a lot of mixture of people in there, but it's not like being in your face about it or trying to make a point to show that none of these things,
normal.
You just see it and that's it.
Which, had to, during that time, in different places it had to be.
Right.
Even though it's not depicted that way, it had to be. So it's good that it's just done.
Right.
And as you said, it's not making a statement. It's just like, this is the way it is.
Right. And if you're growing kind of weary of additions and reboots and remakes where they have to add monetization to it and touch on subjects and things that don't belong in the existing story, then you'll probably be relieved to hear that none of that is in here. It stays being about Scrooge and redemption, stays true to the story. It adds musicals in it, but it doesn't change anything about the story or add anything from modern day into it that wasn't there before.
Absolutely.
The only thing I think I did not really care
except the dog.
Right. The only thing I have to say that kind of didn't work for me was only one thing though. They get to like a song, like almost each ghost gets a movie. Of course, the last one doesn't sing because it's silent, and it's kind of dark how that one comes.
Each ghost gets a movie.
Huh?
Each ghost gets
yes,
a movie.
It's a movie. Each ghost is a movie, a song, kind of like a movie. The way they perform is like their own little mini movie.
True.
They get a song/movie, except for the last one. And then when it gets to where that Scrooge has passed, the people were kind of happy about it. And here, they kind of go a little far and a little bit because they have a big song, a big musical, and they're celebrating that he's gone, parading through the streets, dancing on his coffin. And it's like, okay, it's a little much. Like, we get it. But it was kind of like they were just thrilled the man was no longer there, and he mistakenly thought they were just celebrating him. He was just happy as can be until he saw the grave.
So again, they did something different with the same story. We've never seen that done personally in any other version I've seen, live action or animated. So yeah, they did something different with it.
He's like, oh, I finally get the recognition. They're cheering me on. Then you can see him, and he's like, oh.
So this is definitely something you should take the time to watch this season. We know you've got a lot on your plate to do. You've probably got your own lineup of movies and specials that you're going to watch on all the different platforms and streaming services. But if you have Netflix, it's worth watching Scrooge: A Christmas Carol. If you don't have it, and maybe you just want to see some extra movies that aren't on any other streaming services, this might be a good time to just do a month of Netflix. I mean, you don't have to stay. Get it for December. Watch all the great things that are on there, including this movie and others that we recommended as well.
Mm-hmm.
And especially Klaus. And then enjoy.
Yes.
But this is definitely one of the best versions of A Christmas Carol that we've seen.
Yes, absolutely. We definitely recommend it along with any other versions of A Christmas Carol that you like. And if there are other versions besides this one that you do enjoy,
recommend them to us in the comments below.
Right, and we'll see if we've seen them already, or if we haven't, then we'll check them out, because there's a bunch of them.
Absolutely, and there's lots that we've seen and haven't done. So if you give us a reminder of some that we've seen and haven't done podcasts on, then hey, that's an opportunity to do a podcast.
Right, and if you haven't already, subscribe for updates and weekly videos on your favorite anime series, anime shows, and all things animation.
Yes, and we hope you're having a wonderful holiday season. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us, to listen to the podcast. We really appreciate you and your support. And if you have a channel that we're not familiar with, let us know the name in the comments below. Leave us a link. We'll check it out and give you our support as well.
Yes. And if you haven't already, wait, I'm going to tell you again.
Rascal really wants you to subscribe.
Yes, please sub to us. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Rascal Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace and happy holidays.